So since the evolution of 370, when Indian government stripped the autonomy of Jammu and Kashmir, um, the conditions and situation there has worsened. That we know. But there are speculations circulating around that this is not it. Like the main agenda of India, that is something else. For example, if we in recent times we observe it, there is speculation that demographic changes have been there's that's been on the plot, and as well as India is planning to organize G20 summit. I'll come to that later as well. So what's your take on this, sir? That what exactly India is planning and what we can predict in the future?
Okay, India is doing what best they can do to keep a strict control over Indian occupied Kashmir. I always say that they are much more loyal to their cause than us, because they did two things in Indian occupied Kashmir after 2019. First of all, they changed the status of the state of Jammu and Kashmir from an independent state, fully protected by the Indian Constitution, as a disputed territory, to federally controlled union territories. They distributed the state of Jammu and Kashmir into three zones: Valley, Jammu, and Ladakh. So now they are the union controlled territory, just like Islamabad is the federal territory. So now Kashmir does not have its own identity as a state of Jammu and Kashmir, defined in the United Nations Charter and United Nations resolutions. The second thing, which, just like you mentioned, which they are trying to do, is change the demographics of state of Jammu and Kashmir. They have already issued more than 4 million domiciles to change the number of population, Muslims and non-Muslims, and bringing from the other parts of India, to make sure if and when there is a plebiscite, the number of Muslim or percentage of Muslims who are going to or who were going to vote for Pakistan, that should change to minority. But let me assure you one thing. United Nations resolutions are very clear. No matter how many domiciles Indian government issues, this will not change the demographics of the state of Jammu and Kashmir, as long as the government of Pakistan keeps fighting for the rights of people of Kashmir. Because if and when there is a final disposition of the state of Jammu and Kashmir and United Nations announces the plebiscite in Jammu and Kashmir, those illegally issued domicile will not be considered in the plebiscite. So don't worry. When the plebiscite happens, those people will be allowed to vote only which were the state subject or the state residents prior to this 2019 August 5th. So all those domiciles issued after those dates are illegal, and United Nations will not accept them as legal residents of state of Jammu and Kashmir. So as a Kashmiri and as a human rights activist, I'm not worried about those domiciles, because they are all illegal.